Hello, my name is Bob. I'm from the Upton International Institute of Education. For many parents, the sudden leap into online learning may be an additional challenge during an already stressful time. Well, not to worry. Here at Upton, we're going to show you some tips on how best to help your child with online learning. We're aware that students who are previously receiving their education in person with a full-time teacher may not be comfortable navigating the applications and software now being used to receive their lessons and complete assignments. While older students can be reasonably expected to navigate online learning, younger students will need their parents' help in navigating what may be a confusing and unfamiliar platform. The aim of online learning is to help students remain engaged academically so they can retain some of the knowledge they've gained throughout the school year. The schools should have advised you on their schedule and the proposed method of delivery. This can be done in one of two ways. Synchronous live teaching. Here, the teacher will use video conferencing using either Zoom or Google Classroom. This type of classroom allows interactions so students can ask questions. Or they may use asynchronous learn on demand teaching. In this case, the instructional presentation allows the students to learn on demand and at their own pace. Here, the lesson is pre-recorded where the students can look at the lesson anytime they choose. Tip number 1. Set and keep a schedule. The closer this is to a school schedule, the easier it will likely be on everyone. Maintain breaks such as snack time and recess. From instructional blocks to lunchtime, schools are built around structure and routine. And a key component of that, regardless of grade, is scheduled breaks. The same should be offered at home too. Share when these are going to happen with your child. That way they can measure their day on a clock like they would at school. Tip number 2. Make sure they have any materials necessary to complete all assignments. This could be as simple as having their books ready, a pencil and paper if they need to take notes, and most importantly, the correct login information. Basically, whatever they need to attend the class and to get the work done. Tip number 3. Try to provide an environment conducive to learning. This isn't always easy, and we understand this is even more challenging when everyone is home and the house is full. However, your children will achieve their best work in a quiet, comfortable and dedicated space that is strictly devoted to learning. If they're at the kitchen table, depending on the child or their environment, they may be too distracted. Tip number 4. Don't teach, help them understand. You may be thinking, I've never been good at helping with homework, and now I'm expected to be a teacher. How do I succeed in implementing online learning at home? First off, School and district leaders do not expect parents to replace teachers. Helping students understand is one of the more obvious remote learning tips for parents. How this happens is complicated and varies greatly from student to student, grade level to grade level, and content area to content area. Imagine the parent of a primary student helping their child to the parent of a high school senior helping their child. The former is a matter of sitting with your child, while the latter is going to likely require that you learn alongside your child, or even learn it first and then review it with them after. The bottom line is that helping your child understand the content is definitely part of the bare minimum range of tips. Tip number 5, make sure all work is completed, and any work that remains incomplete is incomplete for a good reason and has a time-bound, actionable next step. For example, email the teacher asking for clarification on an activity so that you can turn it in at a later time. Remember, there is a high possibility this work will appear in future tests and examinations. Tip number 6, communicate with school and keep in touch with others. Remember, social distancing is important during this time, but staying in touch with others via virtual communication is very important. Each parent that has a child at home is going to be going through a new experience. Check in with other parents to see what they found effective. Share experiences and ask if they need help. Check for messages daily from teachers and other students, and make sure to reply to any messages that require one. Your children are also used to lots of social contact at school, so they will definitely feel the effects of being distanced from friends, even after a few days. While it might not be safe for your kids to see their friends in person, you should allow them to interact with them online. Video chats are often the closest thing to seeing someone in person, and are a great way to get in social time without endangering yourself or others. It's also important to remember that school is not all about academic learning. A significant portion of what kids learn at school are social skills. While in-person social interactions may be on pause, make sure your child is still maintaining these relationships through video chats with friends. Tip number 7, learn to identify the barriers. This is something teachers have to learn early on in their careers. How to pinpoint exactly what's happening or going wrong. The big idea is to identify precisely why your child might be struggling. Is it focus? Motivation? Too much or too little structure? Do they need a hug or finger wagging? Or for you just to sit with them? And if it's a knowledge deficit, exactly what do they not understand? When your child says, "I don't get it," the first step is to identify exactly what it is. And this isn't always easy. If you're unsure, refer to tip 6 and communicate with the school or teacher. Most students don't know what they don't know. That's why you and an internet full of resources are there to help them, making this an especially powerful remote learning tip for parents. Tip number 8. Help them find their own motivation. Motivating a child is one area where parents are ideally better than any teacher could be. The idea here is to help them want to learn. It's important to acknowledge when your child is doing well and encourage them to continue what they're doing. This behaviour will create a supportive learning environment that motivates the student and can lead to future success in their studies. Tip number 9. Monitor their progress. Continually review your child's work. Talk to them about what they're learning and be as engaged as possible in their progress. If you're implementing online learning at home, you can access the Oxford online data to review your child's progress and grades. Regardless of the implementation, don't be afraid to reach out to the teacher with questions from you or your child. Schools don't expect parents to turn into teachers, but by facilitating conversations and encouraging communication, they can ensure their student is making progress. By simply asking your child what they learned in English class, you will encourage them to focus better, to reflect on what they liked and didn't like. The child will also appreciate that their English class leads to together time with mum and or dad. Tip number 10. Maintain a positive attitude. While having to quickly learn a new suite of online tools to support your child's learning can be a daunting task, maintaining a positive attitude will help your child keep calm. You need to model calm and positive behaviour while online learning, because it's new to them also. It's important not to assume that just because your child uses technology outside of school for entertainment or social interaction, that it means they are fully prepared for the sudden shift into online learning. Tip number 11. Mix screen time with all school learning mediums. Overuse of screen time can have adverse impacts on young brains, so it's important to mix it up during a time like this. It's likely that your children will want to continue to use a screen of some sort during their breaks from doing work. So it's important to limit screen time by mixing in all school mediums as well. As much as possible, parents should encourage print and book reading. You can use the varied titles in the online books available on the Oxford bookshelf. Tip number 12. Don't let your children treat this as a vacation. This time at home might feel like a vacation for your child, but it's important to remind them that their education still comes first. Obligations like class assignments, grades, tests, and state exams aren't going away just because classes have moved online. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this video. I hope these tips have helped. Remember, help is just a phone call or an email away. Good luck and stay safe. Goodbye.